Hey everybody, I'm fresh out the shower and my hair's still wet here, and today I want to talk about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It has been a while since an anime has blown my mind, since an anime has immediately cracked my top 10 as fast as Cyberpunk Edgerunners did. And obviously, I thought it was fantastic. You can see my score for it right over there. I gave it a 9 out of 10, where my Hall of Fame shows should be. There's a nice little mantle of Cyberpunk Edgerunners right up here in my noggin space. But a lot of other people have some strong things to say about this show. And I want to know. I want to know what's out there. I want to hear your guys' voices. I want to know what people really thought of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and that's what we're gonna find out here today. A couple things though before we begin. Disclaimer: this is not my opinions, this is the opinions of others, just in case someone tries to screen cap this and use it for nefarious purposes, in case someone really wants to embarrass me with my opinion of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. If you guys do want to know my opinion, by the way, leave a comment and I might make a video about Cyberpunk, because again, I did very much love it. Second asterisk, we're going to be taking reviews from Letterboxd and My Anime List, two sites I use pretty actively that you can find my links to in the description, as well as a subscribe button somewhere around there. Hit that if you're new here, and without further ado, let's get into it. So we got three different categories we're going to cover. The highest rating ranks, the people who love Cyberpunk, and then the people who absolutely fucking hated it. God damn, is there a dark mode to My Anime List? I look like I'm being possessed by a fucking angel. As always, I apologize to the people who really take their time to write a real review. I take chunks from these things, but if you see one you like, go and find it. You know where to go. You know what to search. This was my first anime, and I have to tell you, it's a masterpiece. Personally, I don't really like anime. I always disliked it. But because I played the game, I thought, why not give it a crack? And oh boy, I got attached to the characters after the first 3 minutes. Now, I'm not going to spoil the whole series, but in the ending, got me depressed for the next 2 days. Watch it, that's my advice. I can tell this is a youngin' who hasn't experienced a Japanese cartoon in their life. The fact that Cyberpunk, this badass fucking show filled with crazy ass animation, hit songs, amazing characters, the fact that that's your first anime that I watched when I was 25, like 200 plus anime in, the fact that Cyberpunk was the first one you chose, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even comprehend how you jump into the anime world head first and the first thing you slap is Cyberpunk Edgerunners. So props on Cyberpunk for getting new anime fans. We never have enough of those. First anime I actually liked. So, there's a lot of anime out there. A lot of it is very similar to Cyberpunk. The fact that you hate anime, I'm not saying that you can't, I'm just saying that's like saying I hate all video games because I don't like Call of Duty. I've literally never met a person who tried dozens of anime and didn't end up liking a couple of anime. Blade Runner plus Final Fantasy plus Goodfellas plus Cowboy Bebop equals Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I loved every second of it. A contender to be my favorite show of the year. Only bad thing that it wasn't longer. I kind of agree with this, I kind of don't. I kind of like that this show feels like someone just dumped an energy drink on top of my brain. The moment you start to feel attached with these characters, that's when they hit their big character beats, when they die or they do this, that, or the other. It kind of feels like there should be like a couple steps before and after that. Emotional damage! I think I have depression. I hope Cyberpunk doesn't become one of these shows where just the ending describes it. Like, people talk about these shows that break you and like took your heart away and you cry for it, and a lot of these shows have shows before those moments. There's like a bunch of episodes before that that have other emotional moments that are worth talking about. In Night City, there are no happy endings for anyone. I mean, kind of the whole point was that the main character died to give the last thing he cared about a happy ending. So, I mean, I guess it didn't take place in Night City. So you got me. This is the best anime I've ever watched. Everything in this series is so perfect, but for real, the bad ending sucked. There's not a single person who walked away from that ending and didn't feel like they had a sucker punch right to the gut. We're not gonna get into spoilers, but I wanted to punch a wall for them doing my boy dirty. I wanted to cry, and I was also blissfully happy. There's a lot of words I would use to describe the ending, but I would not use bad. Masterpiece. Just fuck my shit up. I don't want to talk about it. Never has a series left me more depressed and angry after finishing it. This shit is awesome, but goddamn. It honestly made me unable to explain how I felt about watching it. It was like the feelings could not be put into words. Like the series overwhelmed me and caused me so many emotions all over the place and all at once. That person had an experience. I know this person's feeling up here because that is the feeling I chase every fucking day of my life. All the most wonderful pieces of art and content for me, those are the ones that leave me speechless, and every single time I'm just trying to chase that high that those certain shows or movies or video games left me with. Those shows or movies that even after the credits have rolled, even after I've seen the final frame, I'm still left thinking about it. I'm still left inside that world, and a piece of me will always be there. Oh my god, this show kicks a fuck ton of ass. This has to be my favorite anime ever, and keep in mind, I don't really watch a lot of anime. I'm only on season 2 of My Hero Academia, and season 6 of that show recently started airing in Japan. Okay, you don't watch anime. I don't need to know about that, dude. I like when reviews tell your story and your perspective, but I don't need to know what season of My Hero Academia you're on. Shit fucks big time. I cried multiple times. That's all I really have to say right now. Well, fair enough. I hate it, but gave it a 10 out of 10. So in short, a lot of people loved Cyberpunk. Now, let's hear about the people who hated it. I watched one episode and it was bad mainly because it was cringe and didn't even make sense. So you reviewed the whole show and gave it a 1 out of 10 because it didn't make sense and it was cringe. Well, you would hate my YouTube channel. Bullshit of unimaginable proportions. That's literally how my grandfather would insult things. Instead of trying to find a nuanced way of describing the thing that displeased him, he would just be like, bullshit. If you like this, may God have mercy on the ass he called your head. The game was better. Are we reviewing the game? This is Dog Doodle. Please, we gotta stop pretending it's good just because it was made by Studio Trigger. The Cyberpunk theme is a dead horse that has been beaten to the point it's unrecognizable. Like, you can't be making completely obvious on the nose your mom died because you can't pay for healthcare, lol ass social criticism. I'm gonna stop it right there. I hate social criticism when it's being shoved down my throat just as much as the next guy. But you guys know that this is a fictional universe, right? I feel like half the people who complain about social criticism are people who are actually taking real life bullshit and cramming it into fictional things that aren't talking about anything within the real world, and thus they're the ones inserting political bullshit into something that isn't there. God forbid you comment on how medical systems literally chew you up and murder you and spit you out and then take your money. God forbid someone put that into a cartoon and then have a joke where their ashes coming out of a vending machine, which by the way is hilarious. Disappointed in anyone who made this. Visual vomit. Okay, I gotta know what this guy finds visually stunning. No, he loves Popstar. Never stop, never stopping. The visual diarrhea of Cyberpunk. But let's talk about the stunning cinematography of the Lonely Island movie. He gave the new Halloween movie a 10 out of 10. We went from visual diarrhea to literal diarrhea. Mediocre, uninspired, and lacking in meaningful content. Bad writing can't be supplemented with good animation. At least this person feels like they at least watched the same show, and you know, it's not for everybody. I wouldn't call it uninspired or lacking in meaningful content, because to me, what was presented actually gave me the opposite of that. But there are some people who could watch this show and just not feel anything, and to each their own. I don't really want to review anime on here, but holy fuck, this is the most overrated shit ever. Studio Trigger, please stop making anime. Like, what is Studio Trigger putting out that is turning people off? because I look at their catalog and I just see bangers. Well, most of them. A Beautiful Mess. I kind of like that one. Very generic sci-fi series that can't be saved by the art design and animation of Trigger's best. Only episodes 6 and 10 are good. See, I actually feel like that person watched the show. I respect your opinion. We're already in the 3 out of 10 section because that few people gave it such a low score. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell already, I kind of hated this. I'm glad lots of people are finding a way to properly enjoy 2077's universe, but this really was not for me. At least it's better than Violet Evergarden. I mean, I guess I kind of agree with you. Too much running, not enough edging. Jesus, what a Tumblr-ass script. Probably one of the most disappointing third acts I've ever seen, following a mid-second act and a pretty good first act. The animation is interesting, but wasted on this. This is another opinion I've seen with this show, where people really like the first act, but the following acts, it turns into something else. The story with David and Lucy and all these other characters at the beginning does not feel like the same story by the end of it, but all good stories grow, develop, evolve along with their characters. What the fuck was that pacing? No time to fully enjoy any one character, all over the place, plot-wise as well. There are very fast-paced shows out there, and a lot of them, you have to watch the show multiple times. But let's say you've already had the context of everything that happens within the story, and you're rewatching the show. But you rewatch the show, there's no filler, all killer, you speed run it, and you get all the same feelings that you got the first time in just this short amount of time. There is value in stories being shorter, if pulled off successfully, as I believe Cyberpunk did. Stop trying to be Arcane. Don't support dogshit games corps that kill their employees. And this guy was out for blood. Would have been great if they didn't make the main character jack off to his own power fantasy. I mean, you say that, but since episode 1, that was the story. It was a story of how David had nothing and he had to take power. But by taking power, he lost himself to it. And from episode 1 to episode 10, that's what happens. There's some other things with Lucy, but David's story is about that. At one point in the story, he is presented with the alternate option of what would happen if he maybe did go to the academy and did eventually find his way down the corporate chain and he could just become a big fucking robot. But he actually chose the more human option. I think there's a lot of beautiful themes. You can simply describe it as he was jacking off to his power, but it's not like he's doing that for selfish reasons. It's so much more complicated than that. And last but not least, we're just gonna look at recent reviews at the time of this recording and just kind of get a random bunch of people just to see what a random sample size of people think about this show. Binge watched this in one sitting and it was worth it. This has a really neat animation style and most of the characters have memorable personalities and designs. The ending felt abrupt though, and I wish they added some more scenes. This sentiment seems to be popping up a lot, that the ending needed more scenes, more time spent with characters before the end. A lot of anime are 12 episodes long. That seems to be like the hit formula, but Netflix is doing their own thing. 9 out of 10, Cyber Psychedelia. This show makes so many weird stylistic choices and somehow it's elevated by it. 8 out of 10, Not Enough Bugs. Arguably the best video game adaptation, a show that both completely honors and embeds itself faithfully to the world and tone of the game, yet tells a fresh new story within its rich universe. 9 out of 10. And just like that, we've come full circle right back to emotional damage. So that was some of the internet's hot takes on Cyberpunk. But if you have your own, I want to hear about it in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and until next time with that, I leave you.